welcome back. This is Knitting in Our Jeans.
Yes.
Thank you for finding us if you're new, and welcome back, and thank you for joining us again if you are a returning watcher.
Yes.
I'm Liz.
I'm Carolyn.
Or Elizabeth, depending on the day.
Sorry. I'm Carolyn.
You can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as TooLizForYou, TOOLIZZFORYOU.
I think my whole face is tilted. Sorry, my glasses are crooked. Anyway, I'm Carolyn. I'm known as CPREDMOR on Instagram and Ravelry, as well as Knitting in Our Jeans
on Instagram.
Because I do post a lot under Knitting in Our Jeans, and I try to put a -C. I've been working like a Trojan on getting that sweater done. I'm not going to make it by closing ceremonies.
But you might make it by end of month.
Oh yeah.
Let's see it.
So, well, first of all, this took almost a week.
Yes.
So if I hadn't done this, I would have finished my sweater. But I'm glad I finished that because I've had it in-house for
quite a while.
Oh, anywhere like 5 years or so. So it's good to have that done, and I have a plan. I need to get some organza and be able to cover it and make the pocket because I have some really nice bag materials, some heavy cottons to make some nice knitting bags, and I'll make one for myself. It'll have all the pockets. It'll be all the pockets, and that'll be great. So anyway, but I have been working like crazy on my sweater. And I think I'm going to finish the sleeves tonight. So there, but the other part of the sweater's on blocking boards. I just had put a pole in one. Oh, I got out here.
This is the front.
So this is the front, and this is why it won't be finished tonight because here needs button bands. So the button band comes up, and then there's a band that goes around the neck, and then I just pulled with the head of the pin the back. So there's a little pull in this. Whoops. So they're done, and they are blocking. And they are huge because loft apparently grows like a son of a gun. So I'm not stretching it by any means, but I'm just trying to get the edges to lie down. So even though there's ribbing, I think the ribbing would have had to have been 2 inches instead of 1 inch in order for it to lay down. So, so of course, it's 1 inch and it's flipping up at the bottom. So they're pinned so that they can have the ribbing sit down. And I think that that'll be fine. So I am working away on this, although I probably won't work on it while we are sitting here because I left my cheat sheet downstairs. Oh, well, you know, oh, well. Actually, I know what I'm doing for the next 2 rows. So, what are you working on?
So, I didn't finish anything this week because just sometimes doesn't happen. So, yes, look at your sleeve.
So, my sleeve, and they're only supposed to be 13.5 inches. So, I'm thinking that with 2 times 8, 16, 20 more rows, I think we'll probably be very close to 13.5 inches. So, that'll be great. And then we do the sleeve cap, and we're done. So, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So, I'm working on my Avana. I have joined it in the round. Here are the armholes. So now I knit for 3 inches, and then I start the lace pattern. I know I said I totally was going to get that done. Yeah, life took over, work took over, and I didn't knit for 2 nights.
Yes. Well,
because of life and work and yada yada. So
I know I came home on Friday and fell asleep in the chair, so.
Yeah, Thursday? Was Thursday the night of the... No, when... What was the night of the ladies' free skate? Or long program?
I think it was Thursday.
So Thursday, I laid down on the couch, thought I was just going to sit and watch the free skate. Watched the Americans. No problem there. And then fell asleep. And then woke up while Medvedeva was getting her score and was not a high enough score to get in front of Zagitova.
Yeah. And Medvedeva is so pretty when she skates.
She is. And
she did her best. She did her best.
The problem is that Zagitova just backloads everything.
All her jumps at the end. But it was interesting,
and it's
of course.
Not pretty. It's just jump, 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 jump.
Well, that's what you do when you're young, because you can. And then you work on your technique, so your score's get even higher. So Zakitova, I think, is going to be very interesting 4 years from now.
Unless she gets kicked out, like, overcome by they say that there's, like, a ton of girls right younger than those two who they're training with who are just phenomenal as well.
But at that point, Zakitova will have been working on her grace and style.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. And, of course, we know all the men are throwing quads. And it'll be interesting to see. And we saw the one triple axel thrown by a woman.
And she's the third woman, Mirai Nagasu. She's the third woman to throw it in an international competition.
First in the Olympics.
First American.
Ah, okay.
First American to throw it in the Olympics. There are two, I think, Japanese girls who have done it.
In the team competition.
She hit it.
Too bad she couldn't hit it during her own individuals, but she did it.
But she has been stated to saying that she was she was just glad to have gotten it for the team.
Of course. And I think, they all got bronzes and well worth it. And so it's been great to watch. It really has been.
It really has.
It's really wonderful. And we're watching the reprise downstairs because the closing ceremonies will be tonight, which is why I'm knitting like a fiend to try to finish these sleeves. But I was a good kid. I got some of my stuff done. I made up an exam. So that was it. I worked on another paper. And I probably should do a little bit more, but I'm kind of lost in the words. So I'm going to wait till later to look at it again and see if I need to add anything. I actually need to read it out loud to see how it sounds. It may need another paragraph, so we'll see. And then I've got two other things that could be addressed. Hello. Hello, how are you? But I doubt that I'll get to those tonight, maybe tomorrow. But I've graded homeworks. Homeworks are all graded. I have an exam all photocopied for Tuesday. So that's good.
So remember how I wanted to start all of the sweaters last week?
How many did you start?
1.
That's not bad.
No! I swatched for 3 of them.
Of course, what's the whip along? I mean, starting a new sweater doesn't help with the whip along. So I bet we can get a lot of people who play with a start along.
Oh, yeah. So I swatched for my Zweig. This is out of Lamb String Yarns that I got at Woolen. This is the Zweig that Christy Glass Knits made me do. Enabled me into.
Christy was
so it's
helping her buy the
Raven,
yarn.
And it's so pretty, and it gets gauge, and I like the fabric it makes. I even did a circular swatch. Look at this. Because it's knit in the round.
Oh.
So you get a more accurate gauge. I was trying to be an overly good kid.
Well,
you just whip it out after.
I know, but to really understand the gauge, I think you'd have to make a cuff. I'm just saying. Oh, I love the feel.
I know.
I love the feel.
Know.
I love the color.
I know. It's pretty fantastic.
Yes.
And then
yes.
I swatched for my Aumangea. So this is Miss Babs Yowza, and this is the stripes. So this is the Rhinebeck colorway from 2 years ago, and this is just a random purple. So it's very pretty, and I get gauge. I have to check my row gauge again, but I think I get gauge in both directions.
Cool.
So I did that, and then
there's more.
Well, I did my gauge swatch for my Chuck, and then on Friday,
yes,
I cast my Chuck on.
Ah.
So here's the back.
Okay.
This is the Chuck by Andy Satterlin.
Yes.
So
top down.
Top down from the shoulders. And so I've started the cable in the front. Yeah, that's the right. Yeah. So
I like it. It's all
I do
sparkly.
too. Yes, this is out of Smashing. This is White Queen on Smashing by Nerd Girl.
Very nice.
Yeah, I really love it because it's like a white but it's really a gray, so it'll be really wearable.
It'll be very wearable.
I'm very happy with it. It's very soft to knit with, and it's glorious.
Very nice.
And then there's more.
Oh gosh.
Remember how I wanted to do my I wanted to do the Sunset Highway pullover?
Yes.
So I swatched that. I don't think I like the darker gray. The lighter gray has some promise.
Something's bad.
I don't like that. This is okay, right?
Yes.
This is better. So I might rip it all out.
Yeah, this is much better than that.
Yeah.
Something's
so I might
wrong.
rip it out, and I might...
Those are grays?
Yeah.
One looks like a
This
brown
is a
and the other
purple.
looks like a purple to me.
No, this is a gray, and this is a gray-purple. So
I
might...
like the one that looks like a gray-brown.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do probably then is take it out and start it up from the top of the colorwork motif again.
Mm-hmm.
And if it doesn't work again that time, then we just give up and figure out something else to do with this yarn. But I thought I was doing...
Does it need all those colors?
This is one color. This is the Tequila Sunrise.
No, this.
No, it doesn't need those. I didn't like how it was looking in that, so I picked up another gray and
Right.
to show it, to try and see if I liked it.
So this and this is one skein.
Yes.
This is another skein.
Yes.
All right, so you don't have to use this.
Right. I'm
Okay.
going to rip this swatch out
Right.
and redo this whole motif with
just
this
that.
gray. Yeah.
Well, that'll be fun.
So that you know what we're talking about is the top. We don't like this top section. And, you know, it doesn't look so great on camera either. But the bottom section does.
Fold it over. Yes, like that. I think that's more you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try and do the whole colorwork motif with this gray, this bottom gray. I would put it closer to the screen, but my yarn is
It's not cooperating.
It's not cooperating in my bag.
So she's afraid of breaking it.
I don't want to cause any damage.
You only cast on this week. You didn't finish anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I played, and then I cast on my, did I cast? No, I didn't. I wanted to, but I did not.
What have you got around your neck?
Oh, this is my Derecho by Laura Aylor.
Ah.
Yeah. I've worn it a lot in the last few weeks because it's super wearable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very nice. I think
Thank
this
you.
is Waterlilies, isn't
Yes.
it? This is Waterlilies on the underneath. And the over top is Rivel. In black, of course. So I'll stand close. It's got lovely cables that go up each side. And then I've got a cable.
And in the middle of your back.
And the back.
Yep.
And it's kind of a chilly day here. We've had interesting weather. We had Tuesday, which was nice. We had Wednesday, which was glorious. It felt like May. It was 75 degrees. We had people on the quad in shorts and flip-flops, and they were playing frisbee and football. And everybody wanted to be outside. It was wonderful. And then the next day it turned gray and misty, and Friday it's kind of rainy, and today it's raining really well. We're getting the rain that has come up through the middle of the country, drowning some people. Actually, I did hear that some people had drowned. But there are roads underwater in the middle of the country, and this is the rainstorm that brought them. So it's raining all day here. So much for plans to go and look at the boat and work on the boat.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Oh well.
But we're going to be taking spring break instead of going anywhere. We're going to work on the boat and get the radio, the AIS, the screen all set up to work together. Very excited. We have also planned our first sailing trip. So we're the reservations for the moorings don't open up until March 1st. So
Thursday.
Yes. And we need to plan the second one, too. So figure out reservations. My cough is better. Not gone, but better. So we will be sailing for about a month. 2 weeks here and 2 weeks further on. And we'll be coming up through Stonington.
Yeah, you've already told me.
And then coming back down. So if you're there like the 5th or something, we'll see you.
Yeah, I'm thinking, I need to talk it over with Ben, but I was thinking of maybe if he comes in or if he's here, I don't know. But because I get off half of the 3rd, and then the 4th, I could take the 5th and 6th off.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of taking the weekend before, I could take the weekend after.
Right.
Because and that might just be easier.
We leave Newport the morning of the 5th, and we will be in Stonington the night of the 5th. So.
Okay.
And then we have just made plans to be down in Annapolis for April 20th to the 22nd.
Fun.
Actually, to the 21st. We're just going down on Friday and staying over and then coming back on Saturday. But it was interesting because they're going to have displays of their little boats. Mm-hmm. And as you know, I've been looking for toys.
Yes.
So, you know, it's one of those blow-up swans is about $95?
Yes.
I'm shocked. And a 2-person swan is just under $200.
Yes.
So I wanted to go see how much perhaps a collapsible kayak would be. And if your father doesn't want one, well, that's okay. He doesn't need one, but I need something to play around the moorings. So that's my main goal for going down to the boat shows. I want to look for a mooring field toy. Mm-hmm. And something better than a swan. I'd like to have something I could paddle, something, maybe a small sailboat, because once you get to the mooring, like you've pushed to get to the mooring. So we leave Port Washington, we push to get to Port Jeff, we get out of Port Jeff, and we had to get out early. Your father says we have to be up at 4 to catch the tide, because if the tide is going the wrong way through that Fisher's Island inlet, you won't make any progress. But so we should be there by 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If we don't leave at the right time, we'll be there at 7. You know, it's like, So, but once you get to the mooring, you don't want to get off. You don't want to leave the mooring. Yeah. That's right. So, I want a mooring toy. Okay. So we'll see. So anyway, we ordered the tickets. We've got our reservations, so we're good. So that's what we'll be doing down in April. And then what's fun about Nantucket is I understand there's a 50/50 shop or a church whatnot store. Oh. And last year, my brother said that there was yarn in the store.
Oh my goodness!
So I think I will wander over and just see what they have in the store. And I did buy yarn at the yarn store that was there last year. I'm not going to do that again. It was very expensive, but whatnot shop yarn, depending on if someone bought yarn at the store and then decided they didn't want to take it home, that could be a find. So anyway, that would be worthwhile. I'm sure we're going to stop at the Whaling Museum again because they have all kinds of talks, etc. So I'm really looking forward to it. And then for August, I don't know. I was kind of talking to your dad about going up to Cape Cod on the boat. So we'll see. We have to.
What?
My book of charts came.
Oh.
And it's on the dining room table. And he goes, "What are we ordering now?" And I said, "I ordered a book of charts for me. You should tell me when you're ordering things." I'm like, I think I mentioned it. No, you did not. Oh, well.
Why? Because he would have said we have those charts already?
No, because he has a gift certificate, and he wants me to make sure I use the gift certificate. I think I've used it. But anyway. So my book of charts has come, so now I can see on paper where we're going, and I think that'll be really helpful in figuring out trips. So that'll be good. So let's see what else. Oh.
What did we go do yesterday, Mom?
Well, I thought I was going to talk about Rhinebeck.
Okay, why don't we... well, yes, and then we can talk about...
It leads right in.
Well, that, and then we have to talk about...
Long Island Yarn Crawl.
Yes.
All right, so we'll start off with Long Island Yarn Crawl. How about that?
That's in like a month and a half.
Yes, it is. So here it is. You can see the dates. April. I can't see them because
April 19 through 22.
Thank you. She can read backwards. And there are 10 stores that are participating. And the point is to try to get to each of the 10 stores and get a stamp. I don't believe you have to buy anything at the 10 stores. I generally buy something. I can always buy needles. Anyway,
it doesn't say.
It doesn't say. Last year we didn't have to. Yeah. You do have to buy something to get a bag. But anyway, it's the knitting place in Port Washington. We met her last night, so we'll talk about that. Knit, our friend Cheryl in Roslyn. The Knitted Pearl, lovely, up in Oyster Bay. the Knitting Garden in Huntington. Very nice people.
Mm-hmm.
They've got that little room in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And the Knitting Cove and Yarn Shop in Port Jeff. If my husband would actually let me take the dinghy and get into town, the many times we stay in Port Jeff, I would walk into town and do this. But we're usually coming in right at dark and then leaving, as I said, at like 4:30 in the morning. So, yarn shops are all over, but they're not open at 4:30 in the morning. And I'm glad, because no one else should be up at that time. So hopefully one of these times I'll be able to get in and go see the store from the water rather than from the land. Then, coming back around, we've got the knitting store in Oceanside. They're lovely people, but get there early because it's trouble. There's a parking lot, but there's also several stores that share the parking lot. So you may end up going around and around until you get a space. So going early works out well.
Yeah.
So what's new in yarn, too, they have fabric and yarn, and I've gotten some lovely pieces there. Yeah. Really nice. Long Island Yarn and Farm. Someone asked me last night, am I working on the yarn that is the Christy Glass yarn and farm? And the answer is yes. But it was put on hold for the Michelle Wang along that Katie of Inside Number 23 is running. And I'm also going to submit it to Bakery Bears because they've got a thing going on called Knit You Up. I'm going to knit you up. And it needs to be finished by the end of February. So I should be able to hit both of those with my Wang along. And then we go to Altman's Needle Arts out in Mattituck. They're really lovely.
They are. They
are really lovely. And the Amisu book. That was the one I was trying to remember last week. They have the Amisu books out there. And then they also have some local yarn dyers out there. And that's fantastic. And then the very last one here is Black Sheep Knitworks. It's new on the Yarn Crawl out in East Hampton, and I know she and I are going to have a lot of fun going out to East Hampton. Yep. So join us on the Long Island Yarn Crawl. That'll be fantastic.
Super.
So I mentioned something last week that I might have some news about Rhinebeck, and we do. I got a note from the woman who puts together Rhinebeck, and she had asked, well, do any of her volunteers, and I helped volunteer for her last year, do any of our volunteers know anybody who could teach either brioche or toe-up socks? And I sent her a note back saying, I can't do brioche, but I can do toe-up socks in my sleep. I'd be happy to teach the class if you need somebody. And it was radio silence for about 3 weeks. I got a note back this week saying, okay, how many hours do you think it'll take? And would it be okay if the class was on Sunday? Well, first was note back, how many hours do you need? And have you ever taught knitting before? And I said, no, I've never taught knitting before, but I've been a college professor for 30 years. So I think I've got the classroom thing down. And my plan, I know what we'll be covering in the class. We'll be covering 2 different cast-ons. We're going to be making a prototype sock. And then I plan to make or write a new pattern for a sock so that the participants in the class are going to get a pattern for a toe-up sock. Elizabeth has been talking me into both writing one for fingering as well as maybe
worsted or DK.
I was thinking sport weight, not thick enough.
I don't know. I mean,
I'll look at my DK. So
yeah,
it'll be a similar pattern. So you could either use these instructions and do a toe-up vanilla sock. Did I say 2 different kinds of heels? 2 different kinds of heels. So two cast on, 2 heels, a pattern, and a pattern for both either DK or sport, and one for fingering. It's going to be 2 hours. It's going to be on Sunday. Right now we're tentatively in the schedule from 12:30 to 2:30. And we were at Inscanity last night. It was thrown by Stephanie Jones, who is Asylum Yarn. And I had thought about when I got another note back from Karen, who is the Rhinebeck coordinator, that she, and with the schedule of when we're going to be in the schedule, that instead of asking people to bring yarn to make the prototype, what about if we brought yarn for the prototype? So this is the yarn that we got last night.
I don't know how much they are.
I'll weigh it. It feels like 10 grams.
It feels like a little bit more than that.
All right, maybe 20. Anyway, I'll get my scale out in a minute. And they're beautiful. And, I have yarn from Stephanie, and I've got some yarn over there that she custom dyed for me.
I've got some
for a design pattern. But, so anyway, I'm going to knit up the prototype in this so that I'll have an idea if this is how much we need. And if so, then for the class, I'll be bringing Asylum yarn for everybody who signs up for the class. To knit up the prototype. So she's excited about this. She's talking about making a special color.
Oh, cool.
And I think that would be so great. So this was the color you got. This is the color I got. And I just love it. It's really nice and fuchsia. So you want to talk about why we were at Stephanie's last night?
So it's her 1-year anniversary of opening Asylum Yarns. Or Asylum Fibers. And so she hosted a shindig.
Called an
Inscanity party. And it was a lot of fun. You can look at her her YouTube and find a video she took. We ended up coming in right at the end because I had other things I was doing yesterday, and
having to do with the July wedding. Not hers.
Yeah, not mine. A friend of mine, which was totally awesome, and it was good to see her.
It was great. And we wanted to go together because in Queens, it's sometimes difficult to get parking. So she came and picked me up.
But I was coming from Staten Island.
And there were a couple accidents.
There were 2 on the bridge, or right before the bridge, and then on the bridge. And then on the belt. So it told me I was going to get here at 6:45, and then all of a sudden it jumped to 7:30.
And Scandinavia started at 7:30, so we were a little late. But we got there, and we had a wonderful time.
We did.
We saw Lisa of Indie Untagngled, and we made plans to help her out.
Yeah.
We met her friend,
Katrina,
who is going to be helping with the event planning and setting up all the lists. So we'll definitely be seeing you at Indie Untagngled.
And we made plans to possibly meet up with her during the crawl.
Yes. And so that'll be fun.
That
a
will
lot
be.
of fun. We saw the woman who took the class with us.
Anne.
Yes.
Who's she helps Stephanie with labeling and stuff, I think.
Right.
But she's great. And then we also saw Ashby and...
Yes. Hi, Ashby.
Hey, girl. And Shameka.
Yes.
Of Mekamika.
Yes.
And
always good to see them.
Yeah. Marsha of Wang Mall and Lexie of
Lexicorp. Lexicorp, I think.
Lexicorp, who does she does the knitted ornaments.
Yes.
And then the women
people help with
the women who
backyard
work
fiber. Backyard.
No, you keep thinking Marsha's with backyard fiber.
I do.
Marsha she was just at the event we met Backyard Fibers at.
You're right. She has her own thing. She does...
One Geek to Craft Mall, they're stitch markers.
Right. Stitch markers. And they're gorgeous.
And then...
And then at the party, and it's like,
Then the women from Woolen were there, and from the knitting place were there.
Yes, and Woolen had a pop-up for Stephanie that
also
day.
A birthday party.
Yep.
For Asylum Fibers.
Yes. And it was Dinah of the knitting place was there. And I had
Dinah.
Lovely conversation with her.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. Lovely conversation.
Yeah.
She has great stuff in her store.
She really does. She's got... Stephanie's there. So Asylum Fibers is there. She's got a lot of local now.
As well as Irish yarn.
I did mention that last night, and she said she's trying to... She might be expanding that again. Because it's shrunk because she's been trying to do more local.
I love Irish yarn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was super lucky. So at Vogue Knitting Live, I was really into that sweater. Remember that sweater? The colorwork bulky? Yeah. So I told Stephanie because I knew what the contrast color was going to be. The contrast color was going to be her grandiose gold in the colorway Delirium.
It's gorgeous.
It's phenomenal.
Oh my god.
It is the super bulky single ply, but we'll make it work.
It's kind of like roving.
It kind of is. Except it's spun enough that it won't come apart in my hands.
Unlike Loft.
And unlike when I made the one sweater out of roving.
Hey, Jones of Bakery Bears, just watch your feet, Mike.
Okay.
Just got some loft, and she's very excited about it. I hope she has a very light hand, because if any of you know loft, well, I'll show you. Let's see if we can find a loose end here.
Mom.
No, I'm not. Here is a loose end. I can do this. I mean, you blow at it twice and it comes apart. So you have to have a very loose hand.
Mm-hmm.
I understand from other people that once it gets together in a sweater, it's okay. So I have no doubt that this will be better than what I got. Go ahead.
Don't understand the tangent, but okay.
Because it's single ply. That's why. Go ahead.
So for the main color, I had Stephanie do a super light. You can tell this is like a champagne-y tan color, and I'm in love.
Gorgeous.
I'm so happy. I can't wait to use the skein.
What is the color?
It doesn't have a color yet.
We need to tell Stephanie I need about 4 of those in fingering.
You need to tell her that, because this took a while. This took a month of her testing.
I know, but now she's got the recipe.
I hope so. But it's so beautiful. There are like some more pink sections. I don't know if you can tell. And then there's some more brown but it's all so light that I think it will really be a beautiful sweater.
That would be a perfect constant cardigan.
Mm.
You know, just a cardigan that you have, kind of like my Rivel is in black, but do something in that color, because it would do something you could go with anything. Yeah, I know. I just love it. I love it. I'm in love. Stephanie needs to make it like a constant color. I think she's going to. I don't know though. But this is, it makes me so happy. It's very pretty. And I'm going to wind them into giant cakes today, and I'm very excited about that. Good. And we have the ball winder for it. Yes, we might not be working on much else the next week. We might be knitting this up, because who knows how long it's going to stay cool enough to actually maybe wear this. I heard from Lonnie. Next week is still going to... Well, it's going to be cold through March. Okay. So Lonnie says cold through March. So I'm going to finish this sweater as soon as I possibly can, then work on my owl. My owl finally got approved. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I saw. They had skipped me. By accident. Yes, by accident. So, and then she says, I'm sure you're further along now. And the answer is no. I was waiting. And obviously I understand that I didn't have to, because the more I worked on it, the further along it would have been. But I had this. I thought I was going to finish for Revel. It's Linux. Okay. I totally thought I was going to whip out that Chuck in 3 days. 3 days, right. So anyway, for those of you who are in the Revel Linux, Linux, from Nerd Girl, you have until midnight Nerd Girl time, which is Central Time, to post your finished objects or your participation posts. Right. So I've posted a participation post already, since I know that while I may finish the sleeves, I'm not going to get to that button band. Or I may pick up for the button band, but I'm not going to be able to finish by midnight. And I don't have the buttons. I have to find my buttons for this. But at least the knitting will be done very soon. And then I'm going to plow all my energy into my very pretty owl, which can't get enough ribbing from a Stitch in Time, or I can't get enough ribbing. It's something along that order. And work on that till it's done. And the back is done, the front is done up to here. I'm up to working on the flap. And when I finish the front, then it's just sleeves. It's all downhill from there. So that I think will be finished rather quickly, hopefully by mid-March, especially since I have a spring break. So while we're going to work on the boat, I think it's going to be a lot of holding things, like, can you hand me this, can you hand me that, because I don't think he's going to let me do any of the electrical work. But that's okay. I keep learning. I do keep learning. We almost signed up for a trip with the Shards, who are a sailing couple. They've been living on their boat, I think, for about 20 years. Not one boat, but several boats. And they're getting a brand new boat. And next January, they had some time open where people could come on their boat. Only my husband got a little leery about the whole thing and said no. Then we looked into taking classes with some of the sailing schools. It was more expensive than going with the shards. And really, the shards have information that I want, like, how is it to live on a boat? How do you deal with this week in, week out type of thing? So, I bet I forgot to do the increase over here.
Probably.
No, maybe not. Yeah, I'll do it on the way back.
Good idea.
So that's more of what I want. And
I realized I haven't posted any of my finished objects for the Revel Linux. I'm doing that right now.
Okay. But I certainly do know how to sail. So that's really not an issue. So I don't really need the lessons in how to sail. What I need is just the ability to talk to someone who does this on a constant basis. And I also need to take my time. Take a deep breath, reconnoiter the situation. There's very little that needs to be done quickly. I think we're going to practice coming up to docks very slowly this summer, so I can either throw the rope around or my husband can throw the ropes around the dock, throw the docking lines around. And I think that's what we're going to be practicing. I think that would be a grand idea.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So, let's see, what else did we do? Oh, we listened to people talk last night about the trip to Montreal. Apparently,
yes.
Ashby and a few others. Shameka went up to...
No, Shameka didn't go.
She didn't?
No.
Oh, I thought she talked.
She's gonna be going to the Frolic, to the Fiber Frolic in April.
Okay. So a group of them went up by train. It's a 10-hour train ride.
I think Cassie and I might do it in the fall.
I'll have to see if I can go.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. But alright, so we can't Bigfoot the Annapolis Boat Show or Rhinebeck.
No,
either one. I need to go to both. Because I want to say hi to the shards again.
Right.
Hi. I was the one who emailed you and spoke to you on the phone. I told him about the blister we have on the keel. Your father is not sure how much it's going to cost to repair the keel. So I can understand being a little hesitant.
Yeah. It's totally understandable.
Totally understandable. And anybody who has a boat understands you got a blister a foot in diameter on your keel. You need to check it out.
Yeah.
So I don't think
it'll
be a
problem. Did we tell
problem.
them about the proposition from my boss that we turned down?
Yeah, no, we didn't. Go ahead.
So, it was very interesting a few weeks ago. One of my bosses sat me down. Well, we were talking about something else, and then he sat me down, and he was like, I have kind of a personal question. I was like, where's this going, sir?
And if we have told you, we apologize.
Yes. But it was just interesting because it relates to both crafting and sailing.
That's right.
And he goes, so I know you sew, like you've mentioned this before, and my wife does quilting, and I was like, okay, where the hell is this going?
Interesting that she's not going to make this thing.
Yeah, well, probably because
we don't know whether she hand quilts.
Yeah,
if she hand quilts, she couldn't work with the sail material.
Yeah, so he pretty much just asked if Mom and I. Well, he asked if I could, and I was like, I need to explain something to you. The sewing is something my mom and I do together. We both have our separate skills within the discipline of sewing, and we are better at two different parts of it.
Right.
So we do this together, whereas the knitting we do together, but separately. And he was like, oh, yeah, I get it. So I had said, well, I need to talk with my mom about this. So what he wanted was a sail for his model boat.
I guess
It's a meter sized boat.
Right. So the sail could be a meter tall.
Yeah. Too. So I texted Mom and then did some quick Googling. And there are ways that you can, make your own sail, and it doesn't seem that hard in terms of the math because there's a website that gives you all of the dimensions and how to get the dimensions you need. The only difficult part was going to be whether or not our machines could actually do it.
Because he wanted to use real sail material. If he wanted to use canvas...
Well, and I had said maybe a heavy taffeta or something, but then I had said, well, minimum it's going to be $200. Plus materials, plus probably more labor. Just flat out so you know. And he was like, yeah, sure. So then, Mom and I did some tandem Googling while we were texting, and found that you can buy sales at like 3 different price points. One was like less than 100, one was 100 to 150, and one was 200 or 150 to 250.
And this is a boat that sails.
Yes.
So he sails.
It's not a model one, and I don't know if he sails it competitively because the 3 different levels are the different like kind of competitive, levels of sailing, or if you just take it out with your kids in the pond kind of thing. That I'm unaware of. So I ended up just letting him know that
the store exists.
The store exists. Why don't you go to the store? And he was like, "Oh yeah."
Because I don't think my machine. I've tried to do. I tried to do canvas repair for our boat last year, and there's pieces that you need to have several layers of canvas, and my machine can't go through it.
Which means my machine can't either.
Right. So you really would need an industrial machine. And we just don't have it.
No.
So,
but I thought it was a very interesting little thought experiment.
Yes.
And it was very funny because I had said, $200 plus materials plus whatever. And he was like, "Yeah, of course I would pay you. No problem. Yeah." And I was like, this is a man. And I was like, this is why you mentioned your wife quilts. Because you understand that it will take time and it's costly.
And it's precision work.
Yes.
Especially if he sails this boat.
Right. And so, but I thought it was very interesting.
Yeah, it was nice.
We did turn it down because, as we said, we found for our minimum price 3 other companies that do it professionally, and they do it with performance material.
Right.
So I gave him those.
Taffeta would have been fine for our machines.
Right, but I don't know how performance-y it would have been.
I don't think it would have been performance-y. I really don't. No.
Like a nylon backed or,
I think he's better off going to the store.
But I just thought it was very interesting.
If I had an industrial machine,
we would have.
That would be fine.
Yeah.
But we don't.
No. So. But I thought that was very funny. Also because he started off the conversation with, "So, a sail, and I'm like, my parents have to know. I know what a sail is. I've been sailing since I was 3 months old. I got you. I got this part. Yeah. My only thing is that there is a luff to a sail, so I'm trying to figure out, like, how you figure out those dimensions, because your bottom seam, or your bottom edge is not straight across. It's curved.
It would have to be
I looked at the
piece.
Well, no, it's actually you cut it in
with the belly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was interesting.
Very interesting.
But yeah.
Oh,
you have a book to talk about.
I have a book. Yes. Because I'm getting involved with the design process, I was listening to Knitting Expat, Nina Phillips, and she was talking about books that she uses all the time. So this is Up, Down, All Around. And the other book I had out here
is the Japanese
Stitch Bible. Try not to break the back. And basically these are stitch patterns that you can use when you're creating patterns. And so these are patterns that you can use to, I
love the fact that it has a spiral binding and lay flat.
So, eyelet rose, eyelet snowdrops, and so there's lots of different, patterns that you can look through in this and get some inspiration from. And it will tell you what the repeats are, and it tells you how to use them in increases and decreases. Oh, that's pretty. A seated rib. Very nice. Very nice. Look at that.
It's very nice.
That is very pretty. I want to try that. Let's put this down. So, anyway, that book came. So that and my book of charts.
I'm trying to see if I brought my other book. I don't think I brought it. But Tanya, Tina Pearl, gave me the little book, the one of the Jessica Danger monster books for little kids.
Really?
Yeah, it's really cute. It's a cute book. I'll bring it up next week. Okay. But I got this from Meghan, one of my friend who I saw yesterday, for Christmas.
Oh wow!
And it's a little photo journal.
Oh, how cute!
Of people throughout the years knitting. It's a little it's a coffee table book.
Tiny coffee table book.
Yeah. So.
I mean, knitting in public is nothing new.
Yeah, so I thought that was really cute, and I'm really glad. I like it. It's super cute. So that was super fun. I mean, so,
very cute, very thoughtful.
Yeah, and then another thing that's been taking my time away from knitting is the new Tamora Pierce book, Tempest and Slaughter. This is the early Numair book. This is the book where Numair is a student at the Imperial University in Carthage. No, I haven't picked it up in like a week, so I'm still on page 65.
Okay.
When I finish it, you can read it.
Okay. And there's another book that you got from...
Oh, you want me to bring that back over?
Yes, please.
Okay. That was the Spy Masters. That one's super quick. That one's
No. I was thinking of the one you got
the magic one?
The magic one.
The Book of Spells, I think it is. It's the one that comes before Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman.
No. The one you got from T-Knit Pearl that I was reading. Yes. Oh, that one. Okay.
That was the one I was talking about.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that it was in a series.
I think you've read Practical Magic, though.
It's like
years ago. I know, same.
So that I don't remember these things.
Yeah. So this is about Numair, who is from the Wild Mage series, and his early life. And it's interesting because there are characters in this that you have met already in Wild Mage as adults, and now they're kids. And
How fun!
Some of them are fun, and some of them I'm like, am I predisposed to disliking you because I know what you do as an adult? Or...
I forget, because I forgot the Wild Magic.
I know you did. So...
Oh, well.
Yeah, but... and then the Olympics, Darn Olympics.
Well...
I can finally start sleeping at a reasonable hour again, because they'll stop having all of the ski events in prime time plus.
The Olympics are not as easy to knit to as the Tour de France. There's something about that regular rhythm of watching the wheels go round that my knitting actually goes faster. And I don't find that to be true with the Olympics. And we were talking about this last night. And basically we were saying that with the Olympics, you actually want to sit up and look at what they're doing. And I'm actually trying to do a little bit more, notice how I'm trying to stretch my hand here. I'm trying to do a little bit more continental knitting, and
you have to look for
I have to look at the needles for my continental, unlike when I do my throwing, because as you can see, I can look at you perfectly well if I'm throwing English style, and in fact, I'm not a flicker because I have yet to learn how to just flick and not let go. I always... let go, and at this stage of my life, I guess I'm just going to stay that way. But anyway, I can knit continental, but I need to look at my needles. I can listen to what's going on, but I need to look at my needles. And unfortunately, with these Olympics, with everything going so fast, you want to sit there and just gape, mouth open.
That's why I'm
at
glad
what
I think
they're doing.
That's why I'm glad I've had things that I could just kind of autopilot. And that's why I got so much of the collar done on Grandpa's Gramps, and then this went pretty quickly because it was a Subway and sitting on the couch
kind
watching.
Of a stockinette.
Yeah, stockinette all the way.
So we're going to watch the closing ceremonies.
We're going to make dinner and then watch closing ceremonies.
That's right. And then maybe you'll take apart one of these other. And if the next thing you take apart is the yarn that I dyed.
Okay, how far do you want me to take that apart?
I think I've got a stitch marker in it. There is a stitch marker someplace. There. Well, not a stitch marker.
Not a stitch marker, Mom.
I don't think you're going to miss it.
No, but do you want it at that blue, that dark blue line?
I think that would be fine.
That's going to be too short. I will find a pair of needles and pick it up.
Here, we can just give me that needle.
Well, because I was going to pick up the entirety of the row.
I see.
And then you have it on needles, even if they're the wrong size.
Right, so anyway, we got this one. Then you'll know.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that.
We can do that.
And I will wind up my yarn.
I'm sure there's a big needle in there someplace.
Oh, in your bag, your needle case? Yes, probably.
There's a loose needle over there. Anyway. Oh, and in the, I guess for the class we'll say either DPNs or Magic Loop. And I'll even try my bendable needles again. I forget what they're called.
Addie
Twisteds or Bendles or something. Anyway, So it's going to be toe-up socks, and it'll be fun seeing whoever shows up.
Yeah.
There's going to be a number of things through Rhinebeck this year. They're talking about having a charity knit, and I volunteered to help with that if need be. So we'll see. I think it's going to be lots of fun.
And we're going to go and volunteer at Indie Untagngled.
Yes.
So that'll be
Which is at a new
fun.
Location.
Yep.
A bigger location.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And we will be getting up there hopefully an hour before it opens so that we can, as volunteers, look around. I found that out last year. Volunteers have the hour before it opens to walk around. And then we'll be working a later shift because we can count on being there later.
Yeah.
So that'll be fine. And Lisa's just
a
wonderful.
Doll.
Just wonderful.
Such a doll.
And I liked meeting her.
I'm not going to lie. I definitely enjoy having these quote-unquote famous knitting friends. It's a lot of fun.
Well, we knew her when she was starting this stuff.
Yeah, so.
And so it's nice to see how it develops.
I mean, she was the one I fought with over my gratin color from Cephalopod for my Cora, which was like the first thing we did.
And she wasn't doing this stuff
No.
then. So it is fun. It's quite a community, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And we're very glad that you come in and spend some time with us.
So if you've enjoyed this episode, please click like and subscribe if you want to find out when we post every weekend. It's just about every weekend. I think next week's going to have to be Saturday because I think I'm going up to Poughkeepsie on Sunday.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get invited to Poughkeepsie.
Because I'm going with Ben.
Oh.
And we're going to...
That's fine. I don't want to take Ben's place.
I know.
That's fine. Okay.
We can go up and see Cassie at any point in time.
I know. I love seeing Cassie.
I know.
I
Me
love
too.
Cassie.
I'm so excited.
All right. Well, that sounds fine. We can do that Saturday. Because I know Ben doesn't want to be on this, and your father doesn't want to be on this.
No. 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 No.
No. So we'll fit it in because we would miss you all.
We would. And hopefully we will have something to show you next week. Or I will have something to show you next week.
I should finish mine.
You should.
I should be able to finish mine. It will be. I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to sew it together with the loft.
No,
I need to have. I'm going to use another fingering.
Yeah.
And luckily, we took the class with John Breiniger, who taught us how to sew the stuff together without your sewing, joining threads showing. So I already thought about that, and I can see a couple.
He said he uses silk a lot because it's strong.
I think that's a silk over there. Anyway, so I'll be sewing together, not with loft, because it would just pull apart.
Yeah. And
that'll be done, and hopefully working on my owl, so that'll be good. And my lady yak will be when I'm working on the owl. So owl, lady yak. It's not lost. I can see it every time I sit down in my chair. But since I was trying to get that finished, and then the other thing I want to work up is the prototype. So I can...
And then you can write that up, and then I can do one and make sure it's readable.
Right.
And doable.
Because
that's important. I love this lipstick thing. Sorry, that was totally random, but I'm really happy
one
with
of my lipstick crayons, and she really likes it. It's not very dry. So, this is fingering. Yep. We can then also see Stephanie's DK. I can work up a pattern in mine, and then we could talk, maybe have a prototype in one of her DK versions.
Yep.
I'd like that. So, those are our plans. Sorry we're wandering, but them's the breaks. I got to go into work tomorrow for the Dean's Search final meeting. I'm so glad this will be done, and then there will be a hopefully last promotion tenure meeting on Friday.
Look at you!
It's very hard to get much of anything done else with all these other administrative meetings.
Yes, I know. So, I have a full day of meetings on Monday.
Well, exactly.
I have a kind of informal training for our architect on our document system. at 9 o'clock. We have our ownership architect construction manager meeting at 10:30. We have a final scope review at noon, and then we have to be done with that by 2:15 at latest. And then we go cross town, not really cross town, but we go from 6th Ave over to Park and up a few blocks to a meeting at 3:30.
How much fun is that? So
I'm just so glad I don't have to be on the Indiana trip.
But the other thing is we made our reservations for the wedding this summer.
We did!
Yeah.
I have to talk to her and see if she wants me to knit her something for the wedding, or because they're looking, or because they're looking at houses and talking about houses, or if she wants me to wait until they have a house and pick, and then I can make just her a blanket or something for the house.
Right. So yes, you'll have to talk to her.
I meant to ask her when I saw her yesterday. I don't think it's going to be really warm.
One hopes.
I'm thinking. One hopes. But I also don't think she's very much a shawl person.
Okay. So
I have made her a cowl.
Okay.
I've made her a cowl and some mitts before. We'll see what she wants.
I mean, it is the bride's day.
Exactly.
So that should be fun. Anyway, we're going to get downstairs. We're going to be working on dinner. We're going to be knitting our little fingers off. So it's time for us to weave in our ends up here and go on downstairs and catch up with those final closing ceremonies. Anyway, we'll see you next week.
Talk to you later. Bye.